Welcome into Dragon Ball Super Dope. My name is Kyle. Thank you for checking this out. I am joined today by my friend Raysean. Raysean, what is up, my friend?
I'm doing good. Doing great. Feel amazing, guys. Another day. Gonna talk about some Dragon Ball with you guys.
Goddamn right. We're going to talk about Chapter 91, the Red Ribbon Army's Revival. So, this is a little bit later in the month, I guess, than I would typically look to put this out. It might even be the new month now. Who knows? But I'm not as timely with this manga review for the purposes of us already knowing the story. And this just being a retelling, more or less, of the Dragon Ball Superhero movie. Dragon Ball Superhero movie, excuse me. I didn't read this chapter, Raysean, until maybe about an hour ago. And that's unlike me because every new chapter that drops for Dragon Ball, I usually read it within the hour that the translation is available. It's like drop everything I'm doing and read it immediately material. Because I hate when I scroll through social media feeds, which I do a lot, and shit gets spoiled. I hate that. So I read it as quickly as possible in most cases. This one, it's like, well, who cares? I already know what happened. This shit got spoiled for me like last summer. But I read it and it was fine. I don't know. We'll run through some of the thoughts on it. But what did you think initially of, I guess, the news of them retelling the movie? What do you think about this chapter in general? What do you got?
Well, I will say, other than you, I don't know how I feel about you as a Dragon Ball fan, knowing that you just read this an hour ago.
It's weird, right? I feel weird saying it out loud.
I read it probably late on the 20th, on the same day. I thought the chapter was decent. It wasn't like, I guess, as fun as the previous chapters, but I feel like I always like, because I just fucked his whole name up. Toyotaro always put his little spin on the shit. So it ain't exactly what we seen in the movie. It's like he always want to be like, I'm not. Damn, I can't think of no Arthur's name right now. Toriyama, not Is it Toriyama? Yes, Toriyama. I'm not Toriyama's bitch. I do my own shit. Like that's basically what I feel like he do. It's like he look at it and be like, "With me," or nah, I ain't gonna say that. But I think I like it. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. I do like or appreciate that he puts his own little spin on it. I actually really like the way that Toyotaro draws Piccolo and Pan in particular. I love his take on those characters. I can tell that he loves those characters by the way that he draws them, and I can really appreciate that about this chapter. But what I will say about this chapter is it encapsulates pretty much the first, 20-ish minutes of the movie.
Yep.
And if that's the case, man, like, how long are we going to be doing this retelling, especially at a manga pace that is only, released once a month? Like, there's a real possibility that the next 6 months to maybe the rest of the year could just be the retelling of superhero in the manga. And that is, oh man, I'm like really, I don't mean to be like dramatic or like make like I'm fucking making a joke, dude. I really am kind of stressed out about that idea. Like, that makes me want to check out a Dragon Ball.
I feel like they're gonna add more stuff that the movie didn't. I feel like we're gonna get more Goku, Vegeta, and their training, their fighting and stuff. I think we're gonna get more of that stuff, and then how it ties into like what's going on. Then the forms and everything is gonna be somewhat canon now, so that we can finally be like, okay, everybody's at the same level. And I feel like even with this like the events in the manga and then in the movie are kind of switched a little bit. Like this starts with Piccolo picking up Pan from preschool and stuff, but the movie didn't start like that.
It's true. Yeah, that's a really good point. It's exactly it feels like they're almost padding stuff out for time a little bit. Like they give us two very close scenes. Like when I open the chapter up and I see Pan getting picked up by Piccolo at preschool, I'm like, oh, this is an interesting way to like slice down the time or whatever. And then it's like, no, this is actually 6 months before the time that you see Piccolo pick her up in the movie. I'm like, Do we need? I mean, it's cool to like establish, I guess, that Piccolo picks Pan up on the regular, and that the first time that this happened or whatever, he brought her back to his house and they started to train. Like, I can appreciate you wanting to set up the beat for that, but essentially, it just ends up being a repeated beat in the last third of the chapter. So it's almost I can appreciate you guys trying to like add in a little bit more detail and obviously do the other thing of pad it out and let this run as long as you can so we can figure out what the fuck we're doing with the next story arc. But I don't know. It felt a little repetitive having done that. I don't know. I didn't mind it that much though because I really do love the way that he draws Piccolo and Pan. So I didn't mind it as much.
True. True.
There's a 6 month flash forward in between the first time he picks her up at school versus the time that we see her in the movie, and whatever. She's still a 3-year-old child. It doesn't mean a ton for the time span or the timeline in terms of how old she is and how much closer we're getting to that next Budokai / end of Z time. But it was a fun chapter just to see. I mean, the stuff that I really enjoyed is really the Pan stuff in this chapter and all the parallels they draw to her and Gohan and her and Goku, so much to the point that she like chases an animal off the side of a cliff and like catches onto the twig or whatever. Like, that's literally
Yep.
fucking Son Gohan shit, like day one stuff. And then when she pieces out and goes home from Piccolo and she runs, like does like that rally Naruto run with her arms out, and she's running through the jungle, swinging through the trees and shit. I'm like, yo, little kid Goku, that's what's up, man. I love that stuff. So I had a good time with at least certain parts of the chapter, but I couldn't help but wonder, like, what's the point and when is this chapter going to end and how far into the movie are we going to be and how long until I get a new part of the story?
See, my thing is, I wonder if they're gonna retcon who trains Pan. Because I always thought it was just Goku.
Yeah.
So now that's kind of interesting. But I mean, it makes sense though. Like it makes sense logically because I mean, Goku at this point in time, Goku's not at that point where he's training people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Piccolo's he's literally like the fourth son. Like he's in there. He's part of the Son family. Everybody got their like other add-on members, but he's basically with them.
Yeah.
Well, really, I guess with the Gohan side, because it seemed like they basically got him doing everything, which I find so interesting. But he does it.
Uncle Daimao, Piccolo Daimao. Yeah, I really appreciate what Piccolo is to the family, generally speaking, and I like the idea that you just mentioned of like them kind of changing who trains Pan, because you're right, at the end of Z, like it's heavily implied Goku's been the one helping her, and she's like, "Oh, I just finished flying around the world in 10 minutes, Grandpa." That's why I really love in that movie, like the thing that's kind of holding her back or like whatever is like the ability to fly, because in those last 4 episodes of Z, I remember like seeing her come back and she's like, "I finished flying around the world in 10 minutes, Grandpa." And I'm like, 10 minutes? Doc, how old are you? 4? How powerful are you going to be? So, with that in mind, the idea that Piccolo's the one to have kind of like started her on that path to training, I'm okay with that because I feel like Goku's not really going to take on that trainer mentor role until he meets Oob. And I'm fine if they save Goku for that to go train Oob. And Piccolo starts her down the path, just like she did, or just like he did with her dad. And then whenever Goku comes back, after he's done doing the Oob stuff, whatever that takes the shape of, eventually it will fucking happen. Dog, did you know yesterday or like the day before was 5 years since Super ended? Like, what am
And we
I
ain't heard
doing?
nothing.
What am I doing
Like
with my life?
nothing. That's the crazy thing. We haven't heard
I
nothing.
made
Like, is it coming back? But what you were just saying, shit. I just kind of like forgot what I was gonna
No,
say.
that's
What
okay.
was
I'm
you just?
sorry to have interrupted you. It's been 5 years since the thing ended,
No, it
but
was what you were talking about. With
The idea of Piccolo training Pan over Goku, and Goku instead saving that mentor role for Oob.
Oh no, what I was gonna say, Goku. I feel like for him to actually become a mentor or like even before Oob, I feel like he needs that one fight that like gonna actually get him to stop fighting. You know what I mean? When he finally has like reached his final limits and can finally say either he's the strongest or like the second. You know what I mean?
Is that
And
the
I feel
Black Frieza fight?
who knows, man. That's interesting because I mean, depending on how strong they really end up trying to make Black Frieza, because low key they making Black Frieza like his own emperor type shit right now.
Yeah.
Like he over here taking people from the last villains, flew off with them. They ain't said nothing about Frieza. Like we about to go after Frieza. Nothing. Nobody said shit about going after Frieza.
No.
I don't even hear they even done like a little thing with the galactic whatever them patrol. I bet they not fucking with
The
Frieza.
thing that the end of the granola arc, like as random as the Frieza ass pull seems, right? They kind of already hint at the beginning of the superhero movie that they have Broly and Vegeta and Goku together on Beerus's planet training because they're hiding from Frieza. And I thought that that was weird, but I thought that that was a way for them to connect the Broly movie and connect the superhero movie and have that be the thread. Like we're trying to stay out of Frieza's way. Never really thinking that Frieza was going to show up at the end of the granola arc as Black Frieza, completely eviscerate the fucking main antagonist, knock out our two boys
in
in
his
their
right form though. He didn't even go to the black. That's the
for real.
thing.
For real. He finished him in his base form and then he turned into his black form just to show
That's
off.
the
Didn't even need to, and put down Goku and Vegeta in their new strongest forms with like literally a tap to each of them at the same time. So now knowing now that that happens before the beginning of the superhero movie, like we've been saying, that's how the order of things have gone to all you people who didn't think this shit was canon. I'm really dying to see like how do they reintroduce the idea of them getting ready to fight Frieza? Like that's what I'm really interested about in the superhero arc. The retelling of the movie is I want to see how they talk about it's mostly those Goku and Broly and Vegeta scenes. I want to see how they talk about Frieza now. Because it was a vague mention in the past. I want them to be like, Black Frieza is fucking frightening, and Lord Beerus, what if he's coming after you? And we all have to get ready, and this is how we're going to train. And then maybe we get a proper battle between Goku and Vegeta where they go all out in their forms for real. That would be a cool way to make this its own unique thing, I think.
yes, but I also think we need something from Frieza. Like something Frieza needs to do something for me for them. I feel like for them to actually want to fight Frieza like in that type of way. Like I think Frieza needs to be going around doing something. I don't know like what he could be doing. I guess he could get the Super Dragon Balls and because he almost at a point where I guess he could like try to kill Beerus or something and take his job. That would be interesting if they just let Frieza kill him. That would be the most interesting thing if Toriyama was like, nah, we have everybody's been wondering if Goku's stronger than Beerus. Let Frieza kill him.
Yo,
And then it's like, God damn.
that's interesting because the other day I saw this fan animation, okay? And I know what everyone's already thinking. Kyle hates this thing. Kyle hates fan animation. He thinks it's a waste of time and doesn't understand why people use it other than a way to further their own agenda. You know what, dude? I saw a piece of fan animation of Frieza, who then transforms into Black Frieza, and he's trying to ambush basically Lord Beerus. And dude, I shared it in the Roshi Secret Stash group on Facebook. If you guys aren't members of it, go check it out. There's a link in the show notes, I believe. Go check it out. It was so fucking cool. It was so well done as well. They reused, I'm not actually sure if they reused music from Dragon Ball. Maybe they did. I can't remember at the moment. But they reused pieces of Japanese dialogue.
Okay.
And they put their own subtitles in. And I don't know how much of this was actually like traced
What
or
they
hand
was
drawn or whatever, but it looked very
good.
similar to the style of the show. And the only reason this person did it, I know this in my fucking heart. The only reason this person did it is because they just genuinely want to see Black Frieza fight Lord Beerus because that shit's going to be fucking sick when it happens.
Oh, man, that would be nasty.
Dude, it looks sick as hell. Do you have a Facebook account? Do you use Facebook or no?
I don't use Facebook, but can't you just send me like the
Yeah, I'll
YouTube
find,
link or
maybe I can find you the YouTube link or something. I'll try to find it to send you it because it's seriously cool as fuck. And this person did not do it. To all the people who hated on me for the Dragon Ball Legacy episode, which has since been taken down, by the way, public admission of fucking, I don't want to deal with people's negative fucking comments about me hating shit anymore. I took it down.
I'm weak?
Yo, actually, I got a similar thing happen to me on Instagram right now about me commenting on a audio. It's a clip from like Dragon Ball GT, but it has a Sean Schemmel Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and it is so like gross and cringy to listen to. He's like, I'm doing my voice like this because now I'm a savage Goku, and you just need to know that when you hurt others. He literally sounds like Macho Randy Man Savage, dog. Like he sounds so fucking stupid. And I made a comment that I was like, Super Saiyan 4 Schemmel is like some of the most cringe shit to ever come out of a Dragon Ball dub. And that is saying a lot. I have everyone in the world pissed at me about it. Take, you're cringe, bro. You're a hater. I'm like, dog, I'm sorry you're deaf. I'm sorry your ears don't work. Listen a little bit harder next time. I wince in embarrassment when I hear this shit. I'm sorry that you guys have some kind of nostalgia goggles for what has historically been described as one of the worst localizations of Dragon Ball ever. But whatever. No, go off. It's Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I get why you have a hard on because you're a closeted fucking furry. Anyway, I forgot how I got here. What were we talking about? Frieza?
Yeah, we was talking about Frieza.
Oh, the fan animation shit. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So this piece of fan animation was super well done. And the idea of Black Frieza taking on Beerus is so fucking cool. And I wish they had the balls to do it. I hope they have the balls to do it. I don't know if they do, but I hope they do. I think like worst case scenario, it's like they get prepared to fight Black Frieza in like the next story arc after we're done talking through this movie or doing the manga retelling of this movie. It's like Goku, Broly, Vegeta. They talk to Piccolo and Gohan, and now the five of them are ready to try to take down Frieza. Maybe I don't even know, but get some Power Ranger shit going. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? That'd be dope. I'm trying to think because now I mean, it's Beerus. With Beerus still, I would love to see the Beerus fight, but I feel like he would want Zeno's spot because I mean that's the highest person he done seen. But I don't know if he got power to touch Zeno yet though. If he do, that's. But I wonder if Frieza's still training, or do you think he's like one of those people once he got stronger than them, he's not training anymore?
I don't know, man. He just do 10 years, he said, right? He might be so arrogant. Like maybe that's the way his arrogance comes back to bite him in this round. He's like, I did 10 years. I don't need to do any more than that. Those stupid monkeys will never catch up to me now. And then it's like they go and do like 2.5 years in the room of spirit and time. And they're like, we got you now, Frieza. And he's like, I should have traded for another 20
See,
years.
I don't know how many years it's going to take for them to catch up, though. Because you always got to remember this, though. When they all started off in the beginning, Frieza started off at like 120 million. You know what I mean? So just him training for those 10 years can be that could be a hell of a
I mean,
he might not need to like he might be good. I want to see him and Beerus in the same because I want to see if Beerus would be like, yeah, he might can actually give me a challenge. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
so that's always been Frieza's thing is that he's always been like just a natural prodigy at fighting and being super powerful. And like it's implied that that's just kind of how his race is. But when he comes back in Fukatsu no F, Revival of F, right? I like in the anime specifically, they do this thing with the character Tagoma where he trains with Tagoma for I think it's like 4 months or something, and he just beats Tagoma to like the brink of fucking death, like every single day, and just throws him in the healing chamber. And he's like, "I'll see you again tomorrow, asshole," and just does it again. And he trains himself up for 4 months. So that's like the first time of him acknowledging like my natural strength, my raw energy as a prodigy, whatever it is, like it's not enough to compete with these dudes. And I know that now. So he trains. So him doing this now the 10 years
And
worth
he
of
only did that
training.
for 4 months, and they had did that from Dragon Ball's the beginning of Z
Yeah.
to Super,
Yeah.
and he caught up with them in 4 months.
Well, if you think about it, that's like
That's like
30
one saga.
times. That's 30 times Golden Frieza. 4 months got him to Golden Frieza. 10 years would be 10 times 120, right? So 4 times 30 is 120. Yeah, 30 times Golden Frieza. I don't know. I don't believe in power scaling. I think it's all a bunch of bullshit. It's all just to fit a narrative when they do try to fucking get that shit mentioned in there. But I think I think given everything we know, it's safe to say that Black Frieza is at least 30 times stronger than Golden Frieza. Probably much stronger than that even.
Then you would think at this realm of power, he at least unlocked some type of godly power.
Yeah,
Oh, you would think so.
I mean, they could really write a lot of those excuses in. They could be like, Frieza has this black transformation, but also Hakai Shin power now, like Vegeta has, like the ability to do Hakai energy. And the reason is because the other dimension he went to, the room of spirit and time that Frieza found, wasn't really like the room of spirit and time we know. It's a room of spirit and time with extra shit or extra people or whatever. Like they could write any reason in very
To make
easily
him
to
mass.
explain how
Yeah,
exactly how badass he is. I love it, honestly. I'm kind of down with keeping Frieza. I love Frieza. He's so fucking funny, man.
hilarious. One of the funniest characters of all time.
He really is. I mean, only because of like his arrogance, uh, and the way that it always comes back to bite him. I mean, and also just like it's always good to see a racist get punched in the fucking mouth. And like Frieza historically has always gotten punched in the mouth. Although I mentioned it earlier to you, I think it's on the public cut as well. Like 5 years ago, earlier this week, the end of the Tournament of Power. I want to do a anniversary rewatch of that. I think
Hmm. That's interesting.
I also had somebody mention because we just are coming up on 10 years anniversary of Battle of the Gods coming out in film and movie theaters. Then doing like a 10-year anniversary retrospective on that movie, which I think would be cool because that's a very important movie in Dragon Ball history for a bunch of different reasons. Never mind Super
Yeah.
Saiyan God, never mind Beerus. Like obviously those are
Brought
very
the franchise back.
yeah, brought the and also it was a spite move. Also, it was funded by the fucking Japanese government because they knew it was good for the economy. Like I love talking about that. It's such an interesting fact to me. Like yes, Toriyama. Everyone's like, oh, Toriyama hated Dragon Ball Evolution so much that he brought the franchise back. It's like no, he probably hated it a bunch, but it just so happened that 4 years later or 3 years later, the Japanese government was like, hey, this economy really misses Dragon Ball like so bad. You're really good for our Japanese economy. Can we please give you like $20 million or whatever it is to make a new movie? And he was like, oh shit, $20 million, sick. So he made a new movie. That's the
That
story.
just show you how important you are to an economy or just that place when they're like, man, just put out one movie. Just show these young little
Yeah.
motherfuckers who you is. Show
Yeah.
you're like, well, let me show these motherfuckers. They talk about box office. Let me show y'all. Let me show y'all what I do.
Everybody always gives me a tough time for just being so obsessed with Dragon Ball. And like I get it. Yeah, broaden the horizons. I understand. But like when you look at what Dragon Ball does as a franchise for like the amount of merch that they sell in Japan and worldwide, they're number 15 for most profitable IPs. World fucking wide. Up there with shit like General Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, like just Dragon Ball. That's nuts. But like when you look at the numbers of like other IPs in Japan, like long time shit, like One Piece, Gundam Wing is a big one. All the Gundam is like usually top of the fucking charts. Dragon Ball has been dormant for 5 years now, and it still outperforms like the number 3 spot by like 3 times. Like we did an episode on it a few years ago and breaking down those numbers and how ridiculous it is and how good it is for Dragon Ball to be involved in the Japanese economy or just to be active for the sake of the Japanese economy. It's it's ridiculous, man. It's literally it goes beyond anime. Dragon Ball is the greatest anime ever. Maybe not
And
like in
it,
terms of the story or whatever, but it is the most impactful,
Influence.
influential anime ever, probably. And I'm
Yeah,
tired
I
of
think
people
when
not
you
saying
think of anime, Dragon Ball is somehow gonna come in your head some way or form.
across the world.
Even like if you don't, even if you want to like don't want to give it its props or anything, Dragon Ball is still one of the most iconic anime in the world. And even for like Japan, when they were trying to introduce anime to different countries, the number one anime they usually always throw out there is always Dragon Ball, because it's really hard not to not like Dragon Ball, especially if you're like a teen boy and you just see that shit on TV. Like it's really hard not to like not like it. But you got your people who be like, I never liked it even when I was a kid. You're like, you must have been a very sad kid, man.
I'm smarter than that. Dragon Ball's mid. But it's not even just America, man. It was huge. Like
I'm
before
saying anywhere like
yeah, before it hit in America, it hit in Latin America, it hit in France, it hit all throughout Europe. Like just a few years after it broadcast in Japan, and then it caught on in America a few years later. Like
yeah.
I don't know, man. You don't have anime is not as big of a thing unless like things like Dragon Ball, Pokemon, and Sailor Moon, specifically those three, helped blow it up to crazy new heights in the 90s. Straight up facts. Straight up facts.
And that was back when Toriyama was probably getting that ass every day. You know what I mean? He probably was ruling the streets.
He
Back when Dragon Ball was at his peak.
he was putting out a chapter every single week, man. Think about that.
Oh damn, maybe
Every
not. He
Friday,
probably,
I believe it was. Let's just say it was Friday for sake of the story. Every Friday, he had a new chapter to put out. I hate reading the
yeah.
shit month to month. I wish we had a chapter every week. That'd be sick as hell, dude. Speaking of
Well, yeah.
speaking of
I'm
chapters,
surprised he
though,
don't do that.
no, it's way too much to him in his old age and with
No,
Tori.
I'm talking about he not actually writing that shit. I'll be making Toyotaro do that shit. I'll be like, you want to be in my shoes,
What'd you
motherfucker?
call him, Toyotaro?
Whatever his name is, man.
Toyotaro.
That's how I have to be like, bro. I want you in here every Monday. I want that on my desk. We sending that bitch out.
Nah, he's
I don't.
notoriously reclusive. Like the limited involvement from him is very much on purpose, and that's why they limit it to like one decently
I
sized
mean,
chapter
Sonny,
a
you know,
month.
be funny. He be like, after I sent my notes in, I don't read that shit. Like, I be weak. I be like,
You're probably
Tori, y'all, you
right.
funny.
Probably
He like,
right.
I don't think I'm worried about what he doing. I hear it. I can hear it based on what the fans tell me.
I
Listen
mean,
out into the Japanese air. They be like,
puts his fucking ear to the ground. And he's like, "What do people think about Dragon Ball this month? What are the people's opinions?"
he be like, you can tell by the
I
roars.
say
He
it
like,
all the
oh,
time,
that was a
dude.
shitty chapter. I
I
be
say
weak.
it all the time. Toriyama does not give a shit about Dragon Ball, and he thinks that it's hilarious that we all take it as seriously as we do. And he loves to
Now
troll us.
he care about it in like a his kids probably gonna be nice for it. Like this has probably made his life nice
Yeah,
in terms of that. But like in terms of like, do I care about keeping the story congruent or where the story's going? Probably not,
yeah.
because in his mind, I ended it at Boo. What they do now is what happens. So you know what I mean?
I don't
That's more
even,
I
I
ended
don't
it.
even know if it's like that so much as it's just like, oh, you want this thing? All right, I'm gonna do whatever I want and just have fun with it. Okay, okay. And then he just does whatever he wants, and it usually sells because we love Dragon Ball.
Yeah, I mean,
Getting back to this chapter, the one other thing I wanted to mention, it's sort of what that was actually a really fun tangent, which was nice to have because honestly, we all watched this chapter happen on a movie screen like a year ago. So the one other thing that they really strong on into this chapter, and I think it's mostly just for sake of continuity with what they did in the last three prequel chapters, is having Krillin be like hot on the trail and him like doing recon on trying like when Hito gets out of jail and then he gets picked up by the Red Ribbon Army and he flies along the side of the car and then he gets beat up by Hachimaru, who's not a bee, he's a wasp apparently.
yeah,
And I don't
he
agree
got
with
a
that.
stinger.
I think he's a bee, but whatever. Their decision has been made. So
I
Hachimaru's a
told you,
wasp.
like, Totoro like to do his own little spin.
Bro, I love that you say it a
I'm
little bit
surprised that
different every single time. That's so funny. Tototaro. Hell yeah,
Okay,
dude.
hopefully I'm getting closer, man.
Toyo Taro.
Toyo Taro. Maybe I get it next time.
I believe in
But
you.
when I'm thinking it fast, it just be like
Toyotayama.
Toyo. You
Toyota.
never know. Never know what. But the only thing I'm gonna say though about that whole little Krillin shit is I agree with Android 18. That motherfucker is he needs slacking. There's no way you should have been got knocked out by like that. You should have been easily able to destroy that. Take what's his name out the car, fly his ass to prison. Like I'm not even doing no like bullshit mission like that, and I'm one of the strongest people in the world. I'm jumping on the car, ripping that shit in half, grab that fat ass motherfucker. I'm janking his ass back to prison, throw him in there. This is done. Like, why are we wasting time on
For
this
real.
shit? Like, bruh, Krillin over here acting like a civilian. You be like, bruh, is he all right?
So I have to imagine that he doesn't do that because he's a cop and he's trying to bring him down the right way with justice and the law and shit like that. I can respect that. I understand that for the sake of what he's up to in his character arc right now. Here's what I don't fucking get. He gets on top of that car and he's like trying not to get stung by the bee. And he's again like trying not to get caught or be seen. And instead of like punching the bee, hitting it with a key blast, just forcing some air at it, anything at all. He does the most cop fucking thing and draws his gun and fucking shoots it. It's like, dude, you're trying not to have any attention drawn to you. You know key manipulation. You are literally Krillin from Dragon Ball Z, and you decided to shoot this fucking thing? What are we doing, dude? What are we doing?
That's what I'm saying. It's like he's a civilian. Like, you be thinking, like, come on, man, you should be able to. Why is you even driving? Like, you should be running. Like, I don't know. It just be making me a little. But I guess he still got to play it off. I guess he don't want people to know, but I feel like there's moments where they gonna know. Like it's just like I don't know. Are you gonna? I don't know. Krillin's just Krillin, man.
Most disappointingly about the whole thing, though, not only does he pull his gun and shoot a bee off of him as if he's not Krillin from Dragon Ball Z, who knows the fucking Destructo disc slash Kienzan slash whatever the fuck you want to call it based on the dub slash sub preference that you have as a person. I've learned recently not to comment on stuff like that because people then think that I've L takes, which I never do. But like, dude, you took a gun out at a bee and then you let the bee punch you in the fucking face, like clear into the skyline like a fucking anime character. You're not Krillin at all, bitch. What?
You
Why
lucky
even?
Android 18 didn't see that.
Why even include this thing, dude? Because at first I was like, oh, okay, it's for sake of tying in the prequel, and this is how they're gonna like be on, or, like catch on to him or whatever, and that's how Krillin knows to show up later on in the movie. And then I was like, well, wait a minute. Basically, Piccolo is going to be a double agent and like do the infiltration of the Red Ribbon Army. Probably not next month. Maybe next month. I don't know. Maybe the month after. But like, we didn't have to include this, I don't think. And the way we did include it, it was kind of dumb and made me think less of Krillin. So I don't like that.
I think it was probably just there for a goof, but yeah, it did kind of. I feel like Krillin should have not by a bee. Like you know what I mean? I just
It's
felt
not a
like he should
bee.
have.
It's a wasp.
I just feel like he should have had some better moments. I guess he didn't even look like he had the situation under no control. I'm just telling you, if it was me, I'm Superman in that shit. I'm in the air, down on the ground, ripping shit in half, throwing his ass in the prison. I ain't asking questions. They don't even gotta ask me to report. I'll be like, bitch, I got that done at 5. Like, you don't even gotta holler into the because she was screaming.
Yeah. What
You don't
was
even
her
gotta
name?
give
Like
us the.
Colonel Nuts or something?
I don't remember what her name is,
Commander
but
Nuts.
I'll be honest. She's one of those characters like when you see, you be like, she's never ever gonna be important in Dragon Ball again from this chapter.
I mean,
Maybe she might come involved again and again,
she was in the
but
prequel.
she's
Yeah.
she's not gonna be more important. Like I don't
Imagine if
see.
they just give us like a whole spin-off manga of like NYPD Blue Krillin and it's just him solving cop cases and shit. That'd be cool.
I mean, it'll be. I don't know how you. It could be interesting if I guess you make Krillin like a good detective or something. Like he's solving crazy ass crimes. You're like, okay,
Yeah, it's like
they
Dragon
had to
Ball
bring
Z
Krillin
meets
in it.
Detective Conan / Death Note. Hell yeah. Um, so that's pretty much all I had in terms of thoughts on the chapter. It ends with Gamma 2 showing up to fight Piccolo, and it looks like that's going to be a bulk of the next chapter. Maybe the whole chapter. I hope not. Because after that, it's when Piccolo puts on the number 94 uniform and sneaks into the Red Ribbon Army. So hopefully we get both of those parts in the next chapter.
Oh no, we missed. Wait,
Well, what? Did there something else you wanted to bring up? I didn't. I think we. I
no,
thought
I
we.
thought we were missing the scene, but no, we're not missing the scene.
Okay, good, because I thought I got most of the important stuff, but I always do overlook shit, so it's always entirely possible. Um, Next month I imagine will be mostly Piccolo versus Android or
Wait,
Gamma 2.
I wanna ask.
Okay.
Did he do the Gohan stuff in this chapter? I
Oh
can't
yeah,
remember.
yeah, yeah. He like went and scratched on the window.
Okay,
He's like, "What's wrong with you, you fucking nerd? You have a child."
okay,
I appreciated
okay.
that. I actually think Toyotaro did a nice job in illustrating or like clearing up some of the dialogue actually about how clear it is that Piccolo was calling. Like Piccolo does a better job of calling Gohan out in this chapter than he actually does in the movie. Like Piccolo says it very fucking plainly in this chapter, and I loved it.
Yeah. It lets you kind of know what he was really thinking in certain situations with Goku.
But he's like, I don't want to get my ass kicked though, so I'll just shut the fuck up. I know Gohan's kind of weak right now. I can get away with saying this stuff.
It's more or less where it's like his relationship with Gohan is more like fatherly, bro, like older brother, where he can say that. Where his relationship with Goku is like they used to sort of be equal, but it's like y'all not equal. Like you know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's like
yeah. That's funny. Yeah, the brotherly kind of dynamic to go to Piccolo and Gohan's relationship. That's an interesting way to look at it. Yeah. Calling out your fucking little brother for being a dumbass with this kid. What are you doing, man? You can't be bothered to pick up your girl at kindergarten. She's 3 years old. What's your problem, man? That's
you
funny.
know,
You look weak as
researching.
fuck. Clothes beam. Yeah, actually, that was a pretty cool little passage. I'm glad that you brought that shit up. I almost glossed right over it.
I fucks with it. But all right, we can go ahead and finish this because I am getting
Yeah,
hungry.
you are. You got hungry? Go
All
figure.
right, can you hear the stomach?
No, my stomach's growled a few times though. My stomach's been audible at all today. Just to, don't think about it. You didn't hear shit. Real quick, okay? So, Raysean, you were a part of this debacle for me. So this is no, not your fault. Although maybe a little bit it is. Maybe it's all of our faults. This episode, I should have put out an episode last week about the Budokai Tenkaichi 4 roster. And I sat down with Raysean and Hayden, and we sat down for about 2 full ass hours. And we bullshitted for a little bit up front, and we had a blast for like 30, 45 minutes. Then we talked about Budokai Tenkaichi 4, what the roster might look like, the entire roster, and like how the rollout of the game and the DLC content and how that all would look. And also some of the greatest Dark Horse character picks that you guys suggested to us on Instagram. That audio for me personally was a little fucked up and it didn't sound so good. And I don't want to put it on the public cut because nobody wants to listen to that. And that'll be an episode that catches a lot of ears, but whatever. My point in bringing all of that up is one, you could listen right now to that full 2 hour episode that we recorded, I don't know, like 7, 10 days ago. It's up on the Patreon now. If you want to go join, it's a $5 tier. We'll unlock that. Plus, like literally well over 100 other premium podcasts that you probably haven't heard or videos that you haven't seen. So think about it. So that's there, full 2 hours. But just real quick, before we wrap up the show, I wanted to run through the Instagram comments quick and just shout out some of the cool Dark Horse picks that you guys suggested to us on that Instagram post. And then we'll wrap it up and call it a night. Raysean, did you have any crazy Dark Horse picks for the Budokai Tenkaichi 4 roster? Like random ass characters you don't think will actually be included, but you'd like to see included?
No, I don't think I got any interest in one. I guess maybe PyCon, but I feel like
He's been
that's
included
not
in a
too.
few. It's not too deep cut.
So it's like I don't know.
So I knew I'd get a few answers.
Or that one hurt. Hercules looking dude.
Dude, that is a. You mean Hercules from the what the fuck's it called in English? The Afterlife tournament, that filler arc.
Yeah.
That is an awesome pick for a fucking filler character. I don't know if he's ever been in a Dragon Ball game. There's a chance he has been, but that's somebody who very rarely is featured in any game. That's a good pick. I knew a lot of people would pick, like, especially like modern day Dragon Ball fans who have watched all of Super. They're gonna be like Manaka because he's got big nipples and he's the strongest. Oh. And sure enough, dude, I got a bunch of Manaka picks, but I also got some decent ones as well. If I had to pick a deep cut Dragon Ball character, I don't know that I necessarily have one. Um, and which is kind of saying something because I don't know. I feel like everyone's not too deep cut, but I guess maybe sometimes they are. Uh, I don't know. Give me Commander Red.
Hmm.
Put him in a robot. Make him smoke a cigar. Let me play as Mai with a shotgun. You fucking cowards. I don't know. I don't have a good pick, honestly, but I wanted to run through some of these picks. Some of them are genuine good picks. Some of them are meant to be funny, but Farmer with a shotgun, I knew that would be another popular pick, dude. Farmer with a shotgun. Oob. Okay. False Super Saiyan from the Slug movie. That is actually a very cool dark horse pick for a not used enough transformation. Spopovich from the Majin Buu tournament
Okay.
beats the shit out of Adele. That'd be cool. Tarble. Yeah. I want to see Manaka. He'd be so OP. Yeah. Gine is actually a really cool pick for a potential character. I kind of like hard pressed to see what they do with her because we've never seen her in a fighting capacity, but you could just load her up with like generic key blasts and call her a fighting character in a game. So that's a good pick. Tapion, which I'm pretty sure, or Tapion, depending on how you say it. He's been a character in the past, but I'd love to see him back. Farmer with a shotgun, really hilarious. This guy suggested Beast Gohan, which I don't think he understood the purpose of the assignment. Legic from Dragon Ball GT. That's a deep cut pick.
Okay.
Adult Goten or Adult Trunks. Another
Hmm.
Manaka. Xeno. Yeah, how do you fight with Xeno though? Every
Yeah.
every
Y'all rather have the
heroes.
guards.
Oh, dude, that would be a good idea. Maybe instead of you fighting as Xeno, you just fight with Xeno with like one of the guards in front of you, and the guard just fucks you up on Xeno's behalf. And then at the end of the match, Xeno just erases your ass out of existence, and you don't even get a round two.
Oh, that'd be
Oh,
nice.
that'd be sick as hell. Somebody suggested Yamoshi. I'm gonna like that comment. Poor kid. We never seen Yamoshi in real life, dog. How you gonna do that? Somebody suggested everything from Heroes. There's a lot of weird, deep cut characters in Heroes. That'd be cool to see. Fit Majin Buu was a popular pick as well. I want to
Mhm.
see Fit Majin Buu. Um, then there's a lot of people. Oh, a lot of people are concerned about them making it DLC hell. Obviously, we don't want that. But somebody suggested actually a deep cut pick that I would have thought of. One of my favorite characters from the manga. Reading the Dragon Ball manga growing up, buying the issues like once a month or whatever it was, once a couple weeks. I don't know what it was. Viz was making the localizations. It was the first time I read about Goku as a kid. Never watched the anime. It wasn't available in the States. And I learned about the character of Namu. That's what they call him in the manga, is Namu, the Indian dude who does the heavens or the heavenly cross from above,
Oh,
and he
yeah.
goes down on your fucking neck with an X cross, and he's like, "Die, bitch, die!" And the anime they just call him Nam. Somebody suggested Nam, and I absolutely love that pick. My buddy Devin suggested Ganos. Ganos is, and I said, "Who the fuck is Ganos?" He said, "That's the green guy from the Tournament of Power from Universe 4 that Roshi fought."
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And the
Hmm.
reason that I really wanted to bring this up was because somebody just suggested today a pick that I didn't even consider, but is brilliant. And it's Mr. Popo.
Oh yeah, that would be nice to see Mr. Popo in the game.
I want to see Mr. Popo eat like a Kamehameha, like just eat it,
Oh,
take it out, no problem. And that's like the draw to his character. He like negates key attacks really well, and you have to fight him like face to face or whatever it is. Like, there's so many good picks that we can do for Budokai Tenkaichi 4. If you want to hear more about 2 hours more worth of me and Ray and Hayden from Dokkan One talking about Budokai Tenkaichi 4 and what we sort of want to see or expect on the roster, but it's also me being a little bit loud accidentally. Patreon.com/Dragon Ball Super Dope. There is a link in the show notes. Ray, before we wrap it up, man, anything you got going on in the Raysean Gats and Anime podcast, AKR Gap? How is that going for you? What's going on, my friend?
well, we just released the episode just recently about Boruto. We're probably going to be talking about Boruto for a while, probably for the next 3 or 4 episodes, diving in more into that. So if you guys want to hear about a different anime, swing on over. I'm probably going to do a Dragon Ball episode coming soon too. So we got if you really only just want to listen to Dragon Ball, I'll have an episode for you.
Hell yeah. And if not, you can just keep listening to this podcast because it's cool as hell. But
For sure, for sure.
can I ask you a question about Boruto? Is it true that the manga is ending soon?
Well, the anime ended. I don't know about the manga. I
Oh,
hope
okay.
not.
I misunderstood. The anime ended, but the manga is
Yeah,
still ongoing.
yeah.
So it's like taking a break, basically.
Well, yeah. I feel like they're just preparing to do a time skip.
Yeah. Yo, they announced that they're gonna do like 4 special extra episodes of Naruto pretty soon. Have you seen that?
Yep. Hmm.
That's cool that they're gonna do that. I love that they're gonna do that. I don't even like Naruto. That's cool as fuck they're doing that though. I'm happy for their fans.
Yeah, because a lot of the fans been wanting the original Naruto back. So some of the older fans, me personally, I actually like Naruto. So it don't really matter to me. I like Naruto content overall. So
Interesting.
it's up there with Dragon Ball, but Dragon Ball is just a little bit higher, just because it's been with me a little longer.
I watched like the first 10 episodes of Naruto and I was like, yo, I've seen this once. It's called Dragon Ball. I get it. I understand why people like it. Let me ask you though, did you finish watching this season of My Hero Academia the other day?
I didn't. I need to catch up.
How far behind are you, dude?
I don't even want to say, man. I'm far. Like I was with it for like a good 10 episodes. Then I kind of watched something else, and I've just been floating around watching different stuff right now.
You are literally robbing yourself of watching one of the greatest seasons of anime that's ever been made, front to back, first episode to the last episode.
I'm about to get back on it
I'm
because
not
somebody
even
just
kidding.
asked
I'm
me.
not exaggerating. I realize people think like, you don't watch enough anime. I've been watching anime since I was 4 years old. I've seen enough anime and I've never been moved by a piece of anime like I have this season. And a lot of it is like you have to have watched it and retained a lot of it because it calls back to everything before it. And it's so well masterfully done, dude. It's so fucking good. Oh my God. Watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
Cool. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Dragon Ball Super Dope. Raysean, I appreciate you hanging with me, talking some Dragon Ball. I've been thinking about airing some random extra old episodes that maybe people haven't heard just to kind of keep the feed regular. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. But if old shit starts dropping, and which, don't get mad. Maybe it's shit you haven't heard before. Maybe it's Patreon stuff. I don't know. But what I do know is I really have to put out something once a week because, man, my numbers tanked the last couple months. It's neither here nor there. Okay. We're going to wrap up this episode with a little bit of a song and then we can go eat like sandwiches and snacks and shit because we're both a little, ready to go do that. So it goes sandwiches, my fat ass on the way. I like cut out the word is. My fat ass is on the way. My fat ass on the way. It doesn't. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Sandwiches, you know I love those things.